time of the year again where I get to evaluate my pedal board just because I have a few gigs coming up. They're gonna be different requirements. I'll be playing with different set of people, and I have learned a few things from the last year's tour, from last year's summer tours. Like to make a few changes on the board just to make sure I have a better workflow and a more efficient switch when I have to switch tones, amps, or settings, or songs at least. Not much has changed from the platform that I'm using, but I do move a few things around. One of them being going back to something I used to use earlier. If you notice from the first, from my new 2025 pedalboard update, I added the JHS, a hard drive pedal to the board, which was good. I also added the 1981 invention, LVL pedal, which is a kind of force level overdrive. I kind of basically use that as a boost pedal anyway. And the second thing that I added was the FUCHS valve job, which is one of the best pedals that I've gotten on that pedalboard. So stick around and I'll explain to you why that is the best one and a little secret on your pedalboards before the end of the video. My name is Dami. I'm a guitar player, and sometimes I make videos like this to talk about gears, to talk about home studio recording. If that's your vibe, please click the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel grow and it helps us grow a community here. That being said, let's go to the video of the day. So the HX Stomp is still at the center of my pedalboard. It's running most of my amps and cab things, and also running a few wet effects. Even though the Strymon is running most of my reverb, I have some level of delay still coming from the HX Stomp, just because I like how it just set and forget it, and I don't have to go back there and change them. It's just the perfect level of delay, and I can always stop the correct tempo in at any point in time. It's kind of my subtle delay setup, which is, it's always on. Like, it's not all in your face type of delay, but it's always on, it's always useful, it's always there, and I like how it responds to almost all my preset and my changes that I make on my pedalboard. One other new thing that is on the board this summer is my switching. Now, I've been using the jet pedal to switch between presets on my pedalboard. It works great. It's MIDI, so it can switch by when you click two of the buttons to the right and two to the left. It moves you to the next preset. But I found this very painful when you're trying to make those changes in the middle of songs. Sometimes you click on the wrong pedal, sometimes you hold too long. It's just not very efficient for me. Just because of the kind of pace and the kind of stage that I play, it just didn't work right. So I still want to keep it on my pedalboard, but I just wanted a different device that does the preset changing, and I just let that MIDI pedal do what MIDI does. That's switching on and off amp or cab or effects or anything that I'm doing, or switching between snapshots, which is something that I really enjoy using that for within the same preset. And I just want to dedicate it. And I was just looking on Instagram and I found this company called Pedalboard. This is not a sponsored video. I actually paid for 3 of these myself because I have 2 HX Stomp, and I just wanted to try one of their MIDI offering out. I'll leave a link in the description. This is a small business out of here in the United States, and I like supporting local businesses. If you know me, you know I'm a sucker for local businesses. Yeah, shout out to Jason from Pedalboard. He's very responsive. My second order, which is an extra Pedalboard FS1 and Foot Switch 2, or rather 4 and 5 rather. Yeah, whatever. It could be anything you want it to be anyway. But it's basically controlling my 4 and 5. I kind of reached out to him to have like my car, which is the Mercedes 1988 SL, to have that schematics drawn on my pedalboard, and we went back and forth, and you know I'm still waiting for what he comes up with. But anyway, I'd love to show you guys. So if you're not subscribed, that'll be a good time to subscribe so you can see that special order. But what I have on the pedal right now was just a stock from the website, just the big 4 and 5 pedal. What that does is switch up and down preset for me, and you can configure this anyhow you choose. You can let it be your you can let it control an effect or anything, but for me I'd rather have it switch between preset, and it's just easy because it's just one button, unlike the jet pedal that you have to kind of toggle between 2 and try to soft press 2. It's just a pain, but I still love the jet and it's still staying on the board, so that didn't change. One thing that left the pedal board is actually the JHS hard drive. I've tried so hard to love the hard drive, but it's just not for me. It's a high gain pedal platform. It does what it does well. I like the EQ. I like the sweeps. It's great. But for me, no. It's just not working. The high gain pedal that I've used and tested and trusted is the Power Stack from Boss, and that has been useful for me in the past. Actually, this would be my third one. The first one I had, I gave to someone at a gig who loved the tone, and I bought another one. Not really sell, because I just gave it to him and bought another one because he wanted it. And the second one, I gave it to a student of mine that I was teaching. I was with a pedalboard for him, and I'm like, you know what? Have this because you like to drive. And because I was getting the JHS hard drive, and I thought that would be a good replacement, but it just wasn't that. I couldn't dial in it perfectly. I'm just sort of words here. I couldn't dial it in perfectly for myself, and that was just something I just had to part way with. I sold it on Reverb at a discount for I think like 130 or 140 or something like that. So always look online for like cheap stuff. Don't buy stuff when they just come out. Just wait a minute, wait a couple of weeks or a couple of months, you find a good deal, like the person that bought mine. So yeah, moving on. So I had to let that go, and yeah. Talking about the FUCHS valve job, I mentioned that I was going to say how amazing it is. First of all, let's talk about the clean boost of that pedal. It is amazing. Like, I've not had a pedal clean boost that expressive, that communicates with my amp and my compression pedal and everything in between. It just does the thing. It cleans up real good. It boosts the tone to where I really want it to be. And the drive session is just amazing. It's kind of like a tube screamer, but better. Like everything you will like about a tube screamer and everything you will like about an OCD pedal. Just combine both of them together, and it is just great for my first level overdrive. And for the second level, when I really want to get things dirty, I go straight into the power stock. And my preset that I'm using here in my HX Dumb, I will leave that link in the description so you guys can download that and just kind of see my amp settings. I'm always using like a Dumble style amp, and I'm always setting the, I'm switching between whatever amp that I'm using depending on the gig, but I have always settled for the Princeton in the HX Dump. It just works for me, and I could just switch my IR, so switch carbs and just switch speakers depending on the venue, and measuring the stage dynamics and see what amp works best in that setup. For me, it's not just the tone or the sound of the amp. For me, it's also how they sound in that venue, which is a topic for another day. If you want me to go deep into that, let me know in the comment section, because when it comes to digital rig, a lot of characters needs to be considered. I will use some amps and some settings and some IRs in some venues, and it will work, and some would not just work in another venue. Yeah, you have your ears plugged, but the way I play on stage, I still have some sort of speaker cabinet on stage with me, getting that, here in the room. Depending on the venue, sometimes I don't, but most times I'm always going with some sort of FR just to make sure I have that part covered, because I love to have amp on stage with me when I'm playing and when I'm touring. But in case where there's none, just how it sounds from the wedge can go a long way if you're not using in-ear. And sometimes when I'm using in-ear, I probably remove one. You're probably guilty as well. So yeah, we can talk about that later. Just let me know in the comments if that's something you guys want to talk about as well, and how to set up IRs, the perfect IR for like live settings and recording. Because sometimes I've had several scenarios where users will get IRs from a particular user or free or somewhere, and it just doesn't sound right. It probably sounds good at home, but when you get to the stage, it just doesn't sound right. There's a lot of EQing that is needed. There's a lot of capture that just will work in certain scenarios. So you just need to be familiar with how that works. And if you want me to go detail into that, that's a video that I'm actually looking into to actually making like what IR is perfect for live performance and which one is good for home studio use. And all has to or to what type of guitar or what kind of amp works for what. I'm beginning to discover that it's just not one size fit all. I'm already rambling and going too far, but straight to the point. Those are the changes that I've made to my pedalboard for the summer tour. I will share with you guys sound samples and videos from my tours and from my gigs and everywhere that I go. So stay tuned for that on the channel. More exciting stuff's coming this summer. I have a lot of product reviews. I have a couple of boxes in my garage of new gears that I want to check out and try out for you guys to see. And amazing stuff's coming. And there's a giveaway coming up this summer. I'm going to be giving out a few gears, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me rant. My name is Dami. I'm a guitar player, audio engineer, and everything in between. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Remember, don't stop creating. I have my Fender Jazzmaster Penny here, the player edition. Pretty nice guitar. And here's the clean sound with just the amp engaged. So now there's really nothing going on here, but I can engage my the 1981. So that still sounds good. It still works. It just adds a little girth to it, and it's around like both of them is like 12 o'clock. The volumes are around 1 o'clock, and the level is around 11 o'clock. So yeah. All right. So next on my list here, uh, will be the pure gain from the Valve job, and this is the guitar without it, which is 1981. 1981 off, pure gain on. Next on will be my compression from Walrus Audio, and that's the Myra. And that's me engaging my delay from the MIDI setup here on Jet Micro, and that it's coming in from the HX dump. So for dirtier again, I usually use the ST2 from Boss.